Well, there you go. Hello. Matt tells me that we are in fact live. My little QI charger is bleeping at me. Yes, Matt tells me that we are live. Clocks are slightly out of sync, but there you go. My clock's right there, I've got to say. No, Garry tonight, he is in chat, but he's not on the show. I've got this chap, Badabam, in the dark. Matt
Yeah, my
Garish.
light just went out. The power just went on the light, not everything else. Otherwise, I'm working by witchcraft.
Yeah, he just lost his light. But there you go, these things happen. We'll be talking about stuff. I've got a couple of ETs from Mr. Dibley, and the usual kind of, witty banter, I guess. Yes. So good evening, chat. And Garry Dibley says break a leg. I don't want to break a leg, mate. I'm having an operation on my knee soon enough. I don't want to touch your leg as well. Dear. Garry Dibley has a beard, yes. Well, he's got a DNA 40, so he should have a beard. Anyway, there you go. So hello, Rob, B, Neil, DJ, Fuzzy, Trevor, Bad Seed, Wraith, Aaron, Chief is in there, Mars is in there, Cybernoid's in there. He's on here as well. Look, there he is. Oh, look, hazy cloud, even in the dark. I've got to say, it is roasting in here. It's been quite warm today, and now I've got 3 studio lights on, and I'm kind of perspiring like you wouldn't believe. But there you go. I'll just have to suck it up until 10 o'clock and then open a window. Yeah, I guess we better have some titles, and then we can crack on with the show proper. What do you reckon, Matt?
I think so. That's a good idea.
Yeah. Let's have these then. Yes. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. Yes, good evening. Now, hopefully, my sound is a little bit higher. It's probably a little bit low before we went to the titles. So now you should hear me in all my glory. Yeah, hopefully that'll be okay. It looks okay on my meter because it's going ping, 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 ping on the left-hand side every time I speak. Matt, just give me a 1-2. Let's just do a 1-2.
2-1.
Now I'm a lot louder than you. I'll just turn you up slightly, and then you can find some matches and light a candle. There we go. Anyway, yes, good evening. Hope you're all well out there. It's been a balmy day today, I must say. It's been quite warm down in here in South Yorkshire, and I believe there's kind of thunderstorms meandering their way up from the southeast, from Western Europe and Southern Europe. So hopefully it won't crash and make everything go crazy. Now Jester says he's deaf. Well, there you go. What can I say? Probably from that silent but deadly you left in chat earlier. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's crack on. Let me just turn it down slightly. Ooh, arm goes out of shot. There we go. Yes, that's probably about right, actually. I might just talk loud. Anyway, what shall we start with? I think, firstly, Gary's not here. He's in chat, but he has put in his usual bits of VT. In fact, there's two Garry Dibley VTs this week. The DNA 30 mod that he was building, but also he's put a little VT together on the sub tank. What's it? Sub box. Yes.
Sub box.
The sub box. Yeah, which we'll see in part 3. But if you remember, we had a competition on last Tuesday's show, and here's the question I asked. Yes, I said down there, look, what does a monkey see when it looks in the mirror? And that was to win some juice from the Captain's Reserve that Garry and I have been looking at over the past few weeks. We've got a couple more to do that we'll do sometime soon. And I asked you to send me the answer by 12 o'clock on Tuesday, which you did. Well, 13 of you did. So I did a little bit of randomising and I've put it on video. So if you entered the competition, watch out for this little bit of VT. It's only about 30 seconds long. Here we go. So there you go. B. Evans won the competition, and the answer, as if you didn't know, was yes, monkeys are superior to men in this. When a monkey looks in the mirror, he sees a monkey, and that's the answer I wanted, and that's the answer that those 13 people gave me. And B. Evans has won the prize, which is either a 10ml bottle of each of those flavours in the strength of her choosing, or one of the skull bottles in whatever flavour. So B, I will be contacting you after the show. And also there was a Garry Dibley drip tip in that as well, which will come straight from Mr. Dibley's shed. Yes, so he will send it out. So there you go. We might have another competition soon. You know, we'll see what we can get to give away. Yes, we'll see what happens. So, congratulations to B, and let's move on with some more of the show. And there's been some stories this week, and I liked the look of this one, which was in the Daily Mirror. And it was about the Royal Navy to let sailors smoke e-cigarettes. I wish they would not say that. It irks me. I'm going to me. It irks me. It's not effing smoking, is it? Why do they always say smoking an e-cigarette? You smoke a cigarette. You vape on an e-cigarette. Get it right. For goodness sake, people buy your newspapers. Anyway, let's go back to the story. Royal Navy to let sailors use e-cigarettes on nuclear submarines as they aren't a fire risk. Yes, this is by Nigel Nelson in the Mirror. Medical officers believe allowing vaping on board would help personnel give up real cigarettes. Sailors are set to be allowed to puff e-cigarettes in their nuclear submarines. The move follows a fugitive whistleblower claiming unauthorised vaping was a safety risk. And the Royal Navy medical officers now think that there is no risk and e-cigs would help ratings to give up real cigarettes, reports the Sunday People. Weapons engineer William McNally, 25, went on the run after publishing an online dossier of alleged safety failings in the 4-sub Trident fleet. And it goes on. They included inadequate tests to see if missiles could be launched safely, alarm systems being muted because they kept going off, and top secret documents being left unguarded. Yes, now the e-cigarette part, they ran a poll on. And there we go. And I had a poll, should sailors be allowed to vape on a nuclear sub? And when I did the screenshot of this, 84% of the people who pressed yes, or pressed the button, yes or no, voted yes, and 16% voted no. Now, I have to say, my uncle was in the Navy for many years, and he was on a nuclear sub, and they all smoked, really heavily, and they all got their, Navy Cup fags untipped, all that kind of stuff. We're going back to the, 70s and 80s here. But there are far more dangerous things on a nuclear submarine, a nuclear reactor being one of them, and there's far more dangerous things they could be doing. They're also trained like you would not believe to deal with fires in a pressurized, submerged tube that may be underwater for months at a time. So for goodness sake, cut them some slack. What did annoy me about this piece, and the link, if it's not been put into chat, can Chief put it into chat, because you'll get the link to this. But what they decided to do, the Daily Mirror, in their wisdom, is to put this story, this bit of VT from last year, e-cig destroys home, to push the point that e-cigs can cause fires. Well, yes, charges can cause fires, but so can battery charges for mobile phones, battery charges for laptops, and probably batteries that are on a nuclear submarine anyway, as well as electrical fires and deep fat fryers, because they've got full galleys in the nuclear subs. They don't just eat sandwiches, they do actually cook on open flames. So it's crazy. Matt, what do you think about it? I'm coming to you. Here we go.
Two things then. One, I don't suppose for a moment that there's a single charger from Poundland on a nuclear submarine. So the fire risk is pretty minimal, isn't it?
I would have thought so.
Yes. And the other thing is, I can't help but wonder if said nuclear submarine decided to sail itself around the Port Call if the smoking ban comes in, or the vaping ban comes in. Did they have to stop vaping because they're in Welsh waters?
Is it Welsh waters there, or are they still British waters?
Oh, I don't know.
And I doubt if they will come that close anyway. But yes, Wales, that's another story. It's another country, and yes, not good. What are chat saying? That's the thing. Let's have a look at chat. Jester says the captain of a nuclear submarine ate a complete expletive, like the health minister. Neil Robinson says they have sharp knives too. They should have corks on the end. Now, talking about things that can happen, there was a few years ago when a nuclear sub was docked, there was a sailor who took a loaded rifle and shot some people on the boat. And he was supposed to have the rifle. So, that's dangerous. There are sidearms and all that kind of stuff. Have you not seen Crimson Tide? What's all that about? And Neil Robinson says, imagine the dripper you could put on a nuclear reactor.
Apparently, Leanna Lourdes was once making lithium power banks for the military.
Was once what, sorry?
Making lithium power banks for the military.
Oh, I've just seen that in chat. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm sure that lithium-ion technology is used. Don't know. It's all secret, isn't it? But having been up close to a number of submarines when my uncle was up there, because I went up to the naval base, we went to the NAFI. It was rather good. But we also went fishing, and we're in this little tiny boat fishing, and this sub went past, obviously on the water, not submerged. And then a few minutes later, the wash came along. At that point, I think I was about 8, 9 years old, couldn't swim then. Scared the bejesus out of me. But there you go. I digress on that one. But yes, the annoying thing about these stories, especially in the Mirror and the Mail, are that they try to stick these things on the end to kind of justify this possible risk. Yes, everything's risky. You could walk across the road and get knocked down by a bus, or you could fall down an escalator and break both your legs. Not that I wish that on anybody, of course, But you just don't know, do you? You know, things happen. Incidents happen. And what else of chat? Jester says, we can rename the Hunt for Red October to the Hunt for Red Drakeford. Dear Simon, what you like. And Neil Robinson again says, I hear they fire 18650s at the enemy from 50 cals. They're that dangerous. Yeah, they'd be getting pretty hot, wouldn't they, if you shot one from a 50 cal? Yeah.
The hunt for the red eye stick.
The hunt for the red eye stick, says Chief Keith. Dear, we could go on all night with this, couldn't we? Let's go to another little story that I had, and this is in the States, in Olympia, Washington. E-cigarettes may soon cost more under an agreement by lawmakers in Olympia. Quick facts. State House wants to add 45% tax at the wholesale level. Tax would also apply to e-cigs and liquid nicotine. The law would also raise minimum age to buy traditional cigarettes to 19, and the tax estimated to bring in 20 million to 60 million. That 4 should be a dollar sign. They obviously slipped. The House Finance Committee is taking public comment today on a proposal to add a 45% tax on e-cigarettes and liquid nicotine at the household level. Sponsor of the bill says that it works out to 20% at the retail level, and it goes on. If passed, it could bring a big blow for businesses, but smokers who won't kick the habit could just pay more in taxes, like they've done countless times. Lawmakers think the tax would bring in $20 to $60 million a year, but the tax would be the first major attempt by the government to further regulate e-cigarettes. Stores selling liquid nicotine and e-cigarettes have popped up everywhere since electronic cigarettes have gained popularity. The tobacco-less products vaporise liquid nicotine, which comes in a wide range of flavours and eliminates the smell of smoke. Well, there's the rub, isn't it? You see, this is what we've been saying for quite some time. They're not really bothered. They couldn't give two ticks about the health of the nation, or the fact that smokers are turning to these devices because they are far healthier and safer than smoking lit tobacco. All they're seeing is the fact that they can raise revenue. They can put more taxes on and get some money in the coffers. They don't give a toss about the health of anybody. It's not about the children. It's not about health. It's about the almighty dollar, in my opinion. What do you reckon on that, Matt?
I think you're spot on there, Marco. I would have said exactly the same thing, but you beat me to it. But yeah, just to reiterate, it's just underlining the fact it's not about anything other than the money. That's all it is.
Which is, it's crazy. Makes my blood boil, and it makes me disappear when I exhale clouds of vapor. Yes.
Here's a question, actually, because it's a bit vague on this. Now,
yeah.
Would this be an extra 45%, what I'm holding in my hand, plus the liquid I put in it? An extra 45.
Well, from what it's said, and volumes all over the place. From what that report said, it was more like 45% on the wholesale price, which works out to 20% on the retail price. I don't know how they've worked those figures out, but it would be an increase. That's the thing.
Oh, certainly.
Yeah, it would be an increase. And at the end of the day, the consumer will get it in the wallet. And if that happens all over the world, then, you know, we're all going to be paying a lot more if it's not banned, and if you can use it outdoors, or if you can use it indoors, or if they don't say you can't use it in your car, and then you've got people going around with cameras taking photographs of you, trying to work it out if it's a cigar-like or a fag, and if you've got children in the car, or if you've got a pet in the car, or if you're blind. They'll just come up with whatever to try and stifle us, and they'll come up with whatever to make more money. Let's have a look at what chat are saying. Paul Robinson says, correct Marco, it's all about the money. I feel a song coming on. Not for me, pal.
Here's the thing. I mean, they kind of try to justify the sin tax by saying that alcohol is bad for you, tobacco is bad for you. So in order to do this, surely they've got to prove that vaping is bad for you.
Indeed, and you can always tell somebody who works in IT because they use the word syntax. Ah, dear. Yes, it is, but it is all about the money, and it is driving me crazy. Anyway, let's go into some ads. Let's have some levity, and also give you a chance to find your lamp.
Yes.
When I find my adverts, and here they are. We will see you in 2 minutes and 2 seconds. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Often imitated, never duplicated. Award-winning service and products from cloud9vaping.co.uk.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vaper Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids. Yes, welcome back to part 2. Just looking in chat there, and DJ Reptile said, switchers are reluctant to pay £20 for a starter kit at the moment. More money means less switchers. Yeah, and you're probably right there, DJ Reptile. However, if you think about how much a packet of normal smokes cost you, it's probably about £8 now, isn't it? I've no real idea exactly how much the different brands cost, because you can't see them anymore. So you can't see how much they cost. But it's, it's getting on to £8-9, isn't it? So if a normal person, a normal smoker, an average smoker, smokes a pack a day, then they're looking at £56 for the week. But then they'll look at £20 outlay for an e-cig, and they think, oh no, that's too expensive. Get a hold of yourself. 3 packs of fags, and you've paid for your starter kit. It's only when you start getting other things and you start realising that there's more things out there than a starter kit, and then you start spending more money. But as you stay on ego kits, I mean, I know people at where I work and they're still using egos and CE4s and stuff, and they're quite happy doing that. But if you move on to the latest gen stuff, then yeah, you're going to spend more money, but you get a damn sight more enjoyment out of it, and at least you've still got it at the end of the day, and it's not a pile of ash and a cigarette end in your ashtray. What do you make of it, Matt? Now you've got some light.
No, I'll put some light on the subject. Well, I tell you, it's very fast approaching my 3rd anniversary, actually. And the reason I started vaping was financial at the time. My missus was made redundant from work, so I thought we need to pinch some pennies. So I was looking at starter kits. I did not know anything about these at the time. So I bought, at the time, e-cigs. They don't exist anymore. They're under some other name. But that
was me dropping my mod, by the way.
And to be honest, it was about 50 quid, I think, for the starter kit. And I had to think long and hard about spending that amount of money. Now, I wouldn't worry about spending 50 quid on a mod or an Atty. But at the time, because I was new to it, the mindset hadn't really kicked in. Oh, this is equivalent to so many packs of fags,
Yeah. Yes. Let me just put that down so it doesn't fall over again. and go back to me. Yes, I just knocked it off the end and it fell. Yeah, it is a crazy one. People in chat there are saying about how much the cigarettes cost as well. And it does concern me that if they start getting stupid and start piling on massive tax just because the liquid contains nicotine, it will put so many people off even trying it because I think it's going to be cost prohibitive in the future, not thinking ahead health-wise. I think my first kit was about £45. It was a Riva 901 kit with some, and I got some juice, and I got some stuff to start making juice. And then the following week, I think I spent another £50 on a lava tube, a couple of batteries, and a charger. And then it kind of escalated from there. Bearing in mind that I used to use roll-ups, and it would cost me hardly anything because I'd get my tobacco when I went away on holiday, and then I'd get my filters and my tips and stuff, papers from the market, and it was relatively cheap for me to smoke. I just stopped liking it, stopped enjoying it, and thought there must be something better, which there is, and it's 4 years in February for me. So, you know, what can I say? Let's have a look at chat. Rob says, the guy in the coffee shop I frequent was asking me about starting vaping. I said he could get something for around 20 quid, £25, and he said he was thinking of 50 to 60. So I think some people are becoming more realistic. Yes, and strangely enough, I was at a wedding at the weekend, and one of the guests had seen me vaping. It was the auntie of the groom, who works in media. I didn't actually find out who she worked for, but there you go. But I had a cigar, an e-cigar, which I was puffing away on, and she asked me to try it. And she used to be a smoker. She doesn't vape, doesn't smoke anymore, but she really enjoyed the vaping experience on the cigar. And there was quite a few vapors at this country hotel place, and they weren't batting an eyelid. We were vaping all over the place. Now, admittedly, I wasn't shoving out huge plumes. I was being reasonably discreet, but outside I was clouding it. But no one raised an eyelid. No one gave us funny looks. No one really bothered. It's just accepted. And if the law that wants to happen in Wales, if that happened in the UK, we wouldn't be able to vape inside. You know.
Here's an interesting point actually. Well, we just the comment in chat about £50 to £60 budget. Now here's the thing. Now when I started vaping, and certainly when you started as well, there wasn't really any real coverage of it. We weren't really aware of how effective it was. So it was more of a risk for us to start. Now there's more people talking about it, more people using them.
Yeah, and there's a hell of a lot more in the way of research and evidence out there that there wasn't 4 years ago, and there certainly wasn't 6, 7 years ago. You know, like when Dave D had started and other people had started, there wasn't as much evidence out there, but there is clear evidence from the eminent people that were at the GFN last week, plus others. So we know it is by far a lot safer than puffing on the old lit tobacco. Let's go to a bit of VT, and we're going to go to Mr. Dibley and his final bit of the DNA 30/40 mod. Yes. Enjoy this. I'm not sure if it's a double entendre. I've watched it a couple of times, but I can't remember. Yeah, have to just wait and see. Wait and see for the double entendres. Enjoy.
Right, so we're back in the room for another week, and a very exciting week for me. Hopefully it will be, and my DNA blues will be put behind me. I'm not holding much hope for that one. I've got to the stage where we finished off last week of most of the wires and everything are soldered up. I've got 4 more connections to do. which is the up button and the USB charging power, and then hopefully I'm going to put a battery in. Now I don't know why, but you just have one of those horrible feelings that one of them's got to go right. One of them has got to go right for me and stay right. I've not had a good history with these, as if you've seen, you would have think, and I don't know why. But this one, I have not gone at it like a bull in a china shop. I have tried to take it a bit easy and get each joint painstakingly and slowly in place, and all that sort of stuff. And I've just got the solder on my case to try and limit any problems. So that hopefully is me uppy switch in place, and I've just now got my power connections to do. Probably be a good idea to look at what way is pos and neg, wouldn't it? Pos is on that side of the board. So with these, I've sort of pre-done these and pre-tinned them, and I've just got them, and you can see, poking through the back. They're already tinned, and then all I'm going to do is, it's going to be hard to do this so you can see it. I'm just literally going to heat up that and give it a little dab, and I can't see what the hell I'm doing. And we have a joint down in there on that one, and now same again for the neg. Just feed that through. Now I don't mind if there's a little bit of an overhang on the back like there is at the moment. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. And a little dab on there, and that one's in. You would snip it off normally. I mean, there's a lot of wires in this thing. A lot of wires in this thing. But we are there. We are there. Should I be confident? I don't know. Yeah, let's be confident. I'm not going to put any hot glue or any of that rubbish stuff in there, because I hate it. It's horrible stuff. I'm going to sit this back on the top, and that will keep everything nice like that when the top cappy thing is screwed on, and it'll all be out of the way. Do we put it back? Yes, let's do it. I was going to do this like off air, but we'll do it. Nothing steaming. Didn't come on. Oh, yes. Success. We have success. He says, I'm a happy bunny. This is where I plug the USB thing in and it all goes tits up. I don't know. Will it? Do I risk doing this on air as well? It's charging. Yes. Obviously it's not doing into the battery, because that's just had a damn good charge. But we do have, I believe, success. Now what I need to do is get all this packaged back up with the back cover and all that sort of stuff, and then I can go about installing the coils in my sub tank. Hopefully this is a winner, he says. I'm well chuffed for that. I am very, 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 very chuffed. Goes to show, I think the the sled thing is massive. It's huge. It was stupid of me to even attempt to do them in the past without the sled. And now that one has gone, he says, well, I don't know yet, do I? I haven't actually fired it up and tried that it works, but I'm assuming it will. But I'm going to get the bigger one and play with this sled that Matt's got me. I'm going to pop away. I'll go and have a set up and see and all that sort of stuff, and then I'll sort of pop back and let you know if it works, because it lights up, but I don't necessarily 100% know that that it works as yet. But come back into Happy Bunny, Smug Smile, engaged. So I have just run around the garden naked 5 times because the DNA success. Finally, you can tell the relief, the happiness in my voice. I'm just cleaning my little sub-tanky thing, and I'm going to put in one of the doofy whatsits, these. Now these are the OCC coils, and they have a blue ring, which means they're the NI jobby whatsoevers, whereas the red rings are the normal doofy whatsits. So it's nice to know that those. I was quite surprised. These are 0.15. This is probably going to kill me. I don't know. I had a quick suck on Dave's when we were at Vape. That's so wrong, isn't it? Mr. Kidson let me have a go on his mod. Is a better way to put it, and it was really nice, really mellow, and I can't get out of my head. What I'm going to do this tank up, and I'll come back into it because I've just lost the plot. Thank you very much. And we are back in the room. I've put my new coil in the sub tank, and I've been playing with some of the settings. Now this is showing at 0.16. Maybe you can see that. Yeah, something like that. At 400 and whatever it is, and 25 watts. Now I haven't got a bleeding clue. I need to play lots more. I've been reading the destructions and playing, and I am suitably impressed. First and foremost, we've got the damn thing working. I'm so happy with that. You wouldn't believe, like I said, naked run around the garden a few times, and it works. Listen, that doesn't sound like much of a crackle, but it's sort of tamed the sub tank down a bit for me. Now this is relatively low neck juice, and I've been vaping away, and it is steamy as hell in the shed. Despite this being really, not the mod, but despite that being warm, the one thing I haven't had is a burny taste, which you'll get on something. I'm getting a burny taste on that on a straight. This is 1.5 ohm coil, and it was annoying me. I was getting a burny taste. Now I don't get burny taste on the other sub tank. In this one, which needs a refill. For some reason, it must be the coil. But on this, I'm sort of blown away because the flavour it's producing is amazing, and I know everybody's looked at these, but you know, first build for me, and happy days. It's about time we did a few more of these. Let me give it a chunt. Now, not massive vapour, but it's nice. That's a nice, warm, nice, flavoursome vape. If I want to do clouds, I can chuck them in that one. And do some cloudy stuff. But I like the flavour of this juice. I mean, it's just brought a new dimension to me to the sub tank with those coils. Now I need to experiment with making some myself and all of that sort of stuff, but I shall be building a few more of these, I can tell you. Nice. Very nice. I'm liking that lots and lots and lots. Hope you enjoyed watching the sort of the build. There wasn't much in the way of detail with soldering and all that sort of stuff, which we can do, and like we said before, we'll show you if you want to see it. For me, I'm happy it's working. That is a major plus point for me. It's well, probably one of the first DNAs that I've actually got in a bleeding mod and working, and it's got to be down to the sled. It was the fact that I'd failed was trying to not use a sled in the past, and putting it in something like that has just made it so easy. And I shall be using that. I'm going to be doing a big screen DNA 40. I've got a chunk of wood. I'm going to put the DNA 30 in there, as we said, and we'll do a big DNA 30 custom build, start to finish, and all that sort of stuff. Happy boy. I'm going to put you back to Marco in the studio, where I probably have a rather large smile on my face for concrete. Finally, the DNAs. Back to Marco in the studio.
And there you go. I'm sure Gary does have a big smile on his face, but you're not going to see it live because he's not here. Yes, he's finished it, and it's working rather nicely for him, which is very nice indeed. And I've got to say I'm loving the sub tanks. I've also picked up this week a Limo 2, a V2. I'll show you that next week, on the show next week. Yeah, why not? Let's go to the second set of ads, and then Matt and myself will be back. See you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Vapers, Dripper just got 40% bigger. So if you love discovering new e-liquids, tell Dripper what flavours you like and we'll send you 70ml of juice and at least 5 flavours. With a money back guarantee and free delivery anywhere in Europe, dripper.co.uk.
What's in this e-cig cloud? Harmless water vapour, right? Pretty much, yes. Compared to a lit cigarette, it's much safer than smoke. But it contains nicotine, and nicotine on its own isn't toxic and doesn't cause cancer. If you're worried about switching to vapour, here are some facts. No tar, no smoke, no burnt tobacco. Cooking your evening meal produces more toxins than are found in inhaled vapour. Tobacco smoke contains toxins at very high less carcinogens than cigarette smoke. Be frightened.
And now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vapor Trails TV. Vaper Scene is sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.
Yes, we're back in the room. And Matt and I were talking earlier on our Skype chat, and we were just talking in the break there. I saw something. Leanna said that she'd lost an earring, a gold earring, and then tied it up and found it. And I was just recounting this story because that was at one of the places that I go for work, and I put my mouse in my laptop bag, in my rucksack thing, on the Thursday. And on the Friday, I took my laptop out to work, and I couldn't find my mouse. And I've got no idea where it is. But there you go. So this mouse is not the mouse that I normally use. I have to keep using it on two machines and recoding it every time, which is a pain in the backside. Anyway, we're talking about the old Limo, and I've got the Limo 2, and Matt has got the Limo 1. Let me put you on show. There you go. He's got the Limo 1.
Yes.
So maybe next week we can talk about the differences, and is one better than the other? I have to say, I'm rather liking it. I took out the coil that was in it and shoved a nickel coil in, so it's on temperature control. And even though it's full of 0.6 juice, it is rather nice, and it's coffee, this juice in here, and it's very pleasant. And I won't exhale huge plumes because then I'll disappear. It'll look all weird. But talking about sub-tanks, and talking about Limos, and talking about voltage and everything else, Mr. Dibley has got a sub box. I'm sure there's a song in there somewhere, isn't it? Yeah, Dibley's got a brand new sub box. Yeah, have a look.
Right, so we are in the room with something a little bit different from me today. This is sort of like an overview, my thoughts, what do I think of it, type thing on this, which arrived the other day. It was pretty much very soon after release. I purchased it myself, and I purchased it myself for a very good reason. Because I like the sub-tank, and I've got the K-box, and I thought, you know what, sub-tank mini, black edition. I wanted the white one, but I haven't managed to find that yet. And would I buy the white one when it comes out? Probably yes. That's the reason. This isn't going to be a sort of an unboxing thing. This is a 50-watt mod. And I'm sure you've seen quite a lot of reviews and all that sort of stuff on this already. This isn't a review. This is a my point of view type thing. So it's not an unboxing. It's not an unveiling. It's nothing like that. It is literally an empty box, bar some of the stuff that's the stuff that's in it is here, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Do I like it? Yes, I do. Are there flaws? Yes, there are. What are they? We'll come to them. The biggest difference for me, when you get all the paraphernalia stuff out the way, and the charging lead, and all your cotton, and your token screwdriver, and all of that sort of stuff that comes with it, is now you've got two things. Well, there was one. There was a 0.5 ohm coil. Now I'm going to try and show you this one, because they've changed from the 1.2 coils that used to come to a 1.5. And I'm going to grab a coily out, which is a 1.2, and just show you the difference, if I can. I'm not sure how low I can go. Yeah, that will probably do it, to be honest with you, if it focuses. If I drop that down a bit. In your normal OCC coil, you can see that the coils are running this way. In said new one, it's one of those. It's a vertical coil. Now, does it make a difference? Did it make a difference? It did. Is it a difference for the better? I'm not sure. A lot of people have been raving about them, and I can see that. The other difference was was in the rebuildable base that comes with this new kit. Before I go on to the actual kit itself, I wanted to show you this. And I found the RBA element of it a little bit annoying, to be honest with you, because this is the RBA from a, if you like, Subtank Mini that I got at Vape Jam. Now I can unscrew me doofy what's it quite easily. I can unscrew this bit quite easily. I can drop my coil, which is already pre-installed as standard on these things, quite easily, if you know what I mean. And it all goes back together, locks up nicely, and I like that. Simplicity. With the new one, I found it a faff. I don't like faff, because I could take me toppy thing off. Like a donkey, I'm screwing like a bugger. You know, I'm screwing as hard as I can, to be honest with you. I was pressing on the bench and screwing this thing as hard as I can to try and get it open. Then I realised there's a screw. The tiniest bleeding screw in the entire world. Which, if I tried to unscrew that to release this to unthread, is not going back in as far as I'm concerned, because I'd throw the bloody thing across the room. There are people who would probably like that. People like that because, and I can see why they've done it, because once it's in, it's hard to get it a grip to get it out, so having that in would give the grip. But for me, it's additional faff that I just didn't need, and additional faff on a level that for somebody of my age and this, that and the other, needs glasses to be able to see how to do. And if you can see how small that is going to be an absolute shite to get back in, excuse my French. That's my only niggle-ish as such. Let me pop all the stuff back in. Did I mention taking a screwdriver? I love these things, they're great. So yes, it comes in a nice kit. It does come in a very nice kit, and what you get for your money is incredible. You get the 1.5 ohm vertical, one of them. You get the RBA, which is a faff and a pain in the arse because of the screw. I would personally prefer the other one, and to get the bit out with pliers if it got stuck. You get your charging lead, and you get some cotton, and you get spare wick screws, this and that. You get spare screws because you're bound to bleed and lose one on that thing, as far as I would be, to be honest. You get your instructions, and you got that sort of stuff. Nice box, clicky box. And I know there has been a little bit of a faff about authenticity of late with these things. You know how to check the authenticity. You scratch your doofy what's it off, you scan your dingy dongy, and you check it. You can check it with Kanga directly. If in doubt, check it. If it shows up on their site, it's genuine, regardless of what anybody says. You know, it shouldn't be there if it's not genuine. Put that to one side. Now the mod itself, there has been, and you excuse the camera shake, I'm going down on you. Oh, that's wrong. Promised to be good today. Yes. So we have our little black unit with red rings, and it looks very, to me, and the reason this appeals to me is because it looks very much like a games console from the 80s, and I like that sort of look. Everything matches. It's all red and stuff, and it's got a little sub tank with a vertical core on, and it does 50 watts. The best thing for me is it has a USB port on the front. There are so many mods that have a USB port in the most stupidest place ever. On the bottom, you know, why? You know, look, why put it there? Why put it there? It's ridiculous. You know, on the front, like this, on the front, so you can charge the damn thing while it's standing up, is the best place to put it. And that is a massive plus point for this for me. It's got a nice display. At the moment I've got this at 20 watts, and it is vaping really nice. I did find with the new coils I had to give it more oomph to get it going. Quite a lot more oomph, and the reason I say that, I like the original, the K-Box. This is a mod that I can chuck in my pocket for around about 20 quid, 20-osh, yeah, 22, 23, 24, 25 plus delivery, and it's solid. It works. It will give me a good vape, and this one here is set at 20 watts. But 20 watts on a coil that is sort of ages, and I'm having to boost it up a bit to where I like it. And 20 watts sits nice with this liquid. On this one I activated it at 20 watts out of the back to almost get it to fire. And at that, with this juice, which is the candy cane menthol from Vaper Shark, it rips the back of my throat out, which is nice. I like that on this particular thing. People have moaned about the battery cover. It is a magnetic back, which is nice and easy to get off. Battery in there. I like that too. No problem with that. It's never come off in my pocket, and I've used this for probably a couple of weeks now before deciding to talk about it. It's never come off in my pocket. It comes off when you need it to come off. Worst thing about this to me is this thing. I've seen a lot of people moan about it. It is really bad fitting on some. It is really flimsy. The material, I've had to scrub that. I put it in my mouth a couple of times, and the white build up and residue around the machine markings on this, you know, gob juice basically. Gob juice collects on this thing. It's on there because it matches, and I haven't had a chance to make something myself to sit on there that won't show the gob juice. As a device, I like it. The buttons are fine. They're working and functioning as they should do. There are a couple of gripes, and for me it's a massive gripe, and it has been a gripe since I've been modding, which is now since 2009, and since, you know, we've spoke about this lots in the past, and I'm going to try and get down on these mods just to show you what the gripe is. And there have been already videos on making a fix on the K-Box. No doubt sure there will be fixes on the K-Box Mini, but it's something that in this current day and age, and with the technology that's out there and available, shouldn't be happening, in my opinion. I'm going to undo another mod just to show you, and this isn't a comparison, it isn't a you know, I don't like you but I like you. This is a my view thing. Now, for me, if you look down in there, both of these mods don't have a floating center pin, and for me that is, like I say, just bloody stupid in this day and age, especially when some of the original big Kangas, you know, these things have pins that will crush the hell out of that. You know, when they get locked up, it will just crush it, and what will happen is the rubber will eventually crush over time, and centre pin will depress and it will crush against the body. It will cause a short. Mod won't work. When you compare that to something like the Aspire, which has a sort of a floating centre pin, and if I can find a screwdriver I will show you that. So, you know, you press that down, it moves. It's not going to crush. That is a missed trick in my book. You shouldn't have put a bleeding rubber in there. Now the good thing is, and we'll show you how to do this at some point, if one of those does crush, it is quite easy to take a rubber out of an old coil and repair this, or a new coil. You know, that is a way that you can do it. But I can see in the future lots of failed rubbers, and lots of mini Kangas. What does it vape like? I suppose we should talk about in a way. It vapes absolutely superbly. The new coils at 20 watts with this liquid is quite epic. I like it. I like it. It's a pocket mod, and when you consider that the full kit is somewhere around about the £45 mark before we have shipping, to me, that's a damn good deal. You know, going back a fair few years, you know, I'm talking Vamos, if you remember the Vamos. You know, same sort of buttons and all this, that and the other. To me, this is the modern day Vamo. And I'm pretty sure a couple of, you know, redevelopments with a decent floating pin, this, that and the other, that will be an absolute killer, because it does perform. It's just the durability of it I'm not 100% sure about. Love it. I like it. I like it lots. I'm not knocking it in the slightest, but there are elements that could be improved. Durability wise, I'll play with it. I'll see. I'm normally quite careful in mods. I don't like crushing me Johnny. I've lost my Johnnies a few times, and I've had Johnnies that I've stretched so far they don't fit anymore. Just like this one. It's got so loose on here, it's pointless having it there at all, because as soon as I try and pull my thing out my pocket, the Johnny falls off and I'm unprotected. So yeah, I wouldn't put a mod Johnny on that anyway. It's a nice device. It's good. It's worth the money, to be honest with you. You know, for that money, what you're getting. Happy days. Unfortunately, I'm probably not here tonight because I've had to fly to Scotland, so I'm sat here on a Wednesday night trying to put a little tiny bit of footage together for you, and I wanted to talk about this anyway. I'm going to put you back to Marco in the studio, and I'll catch you next week.
And there you go, a double dose of Garry Dibley this week for you with MFT and talking about the sub box there. And yes, it's always good. I think it was Neil that mentioned about rubbers. It's always good to have good rubbers that don't perish. So we are out of time, you lucky people. Here's Matt. Say hello, Matt.
Hello.
He's still there. Yes, we've been chatting away during that bit of VT. About the upcoming events at Harrogate and Birmingham and how we're looking forward to them. Yes, it will be very good. So thank you so much for tuning in this week. Monday is the next show. It's thrown me because it's Thursday and obviously I do Tuesdays. It's thrown me slightly. So Monday, have a look on the Twitter feed and the Facebook page. It's probably going to be a team talky type thing. And Tuesday I'll be back. Possibly with Garry, who knows? I don't know. I'll have to wait and see when he gets back from Scotland. So then Wednesday, it's this fella. It's Matt Gerrish. Oh, there he is. Yeah, it's him. Yeah, him there. Probably with Ridian, isn't it? Oh yes, isn't it? Marvellous. And then Thursday, of course, Mr. David Dawn and maybe Keith Hibbert as well. Hibbert? No, Keith. Anyway, with his top pocket. See what you can put in there. And the usual kind of stuff, RI4 radio every night of the week. Well, actually most nights of the week. So you've always got stuff to do. So good night, chat. Thank you very much indeed. We will see you next week. Say goodbye, Matt.
Goodbye, Matt.
Yes. We'll see you soon. Take care. Touchy bye.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and Pure Perfection e-liquids.